Have you heard about Global Poker? Global Poker is the fastest growing card room in the US today, and it's available online at globalpoker.com. Global Poker is a social poker site that offers safe and secure cash-out options by using their unique and patented sweepstakes model. Players can compete in big guaranteed tournaments, jackpot sit-and-goes, or cash games featuring Hold'em, Omaha, and even Crazy Pineapple. Don't wait. Check out Global Poker today.
Poker Stories is an audio series that features casual interviews with some of the game's best players and personalities. Each episode highlights a well-known figure in the poker world and dives deep into their favorite tales both on and off the feld.
Welcome back to Poker Stories, a podcast brought to you by Card Player, the Poker Authority, and hosted by me, Julio Rodriguez. This is episode number 68, and it is coming to you right in the middle of the World Series of Poker main event. So, to celebrate the main event of the 50th annual WSOP, I thought it would be appropriate to bring you an episode with an actual main event winner. That's right, this episode of the podcast features 2017 World Series of Poker main event champion Scott Blumstein. Scott is 27 years old and originally from Morristown, New Jersey. He went to Temple University and graduated with a degree in accounting, which he does not use. Scott topped a field of 7,221 players in the main event and earned a payday of $8.15 million. But that magical run might never have happened had he not won an event at the Borgata the previous summer. Back in 2016, while the WSOP main event was going on in Vegas, Scott was actually at home in New Jersey and actually considering quitting poker altogether. He decided to give it one last shot, and he wound up winning the Borgata Summer Poker Open kickoff event for just short of $200,000. That score kept him in the game, and the rest is history. Now, Scott is actually the 6th main event winner I've had on the podcast, and if that's news to you, then you need to hit the subscribe button and go back through the archives of this show. You can catch previous episodes with WSOP main event winners like Chris Moneymaker, Tom McAvoy, Greg Raymer, Joe Cotta, and of course, Doyle Brunson. You get all that and a new episode every 2 weeks, so please subscribe. That's enough intro. Here's my conversation with Scott Blumstein. I'm here with World Series of Poker main event champion Scott Blumstein. Scott, how you doing?
Good, Julio. How are you?
I'm great. You're here at the Rio. I guess they twisted your arm and they forced you to come down.
Yeah. I'm against my will, but I'm here.
What day is this for you here in the summer? Like your 5th trip to the Rio, 6th trip?
Probably like the 8 to 10 range.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've never quite put in like the full summer, have you?
You know, I guess I technically haven't. I would say last summer was probably the most I had played, which still wasn't that much, but I don't know. It's a long time. It's 2 months, you know. That's a month and a half or whatever. It's a lot of poker.
I'm always marveled by the guys in this long series who can go 2 months playing every day, but not only playing every day, but playing up to 3 events a day.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Your brain must be mush after just a week.
That's what I'm saying. Poker tournaments are brutal. Like, these are massive fields. Like, you know, they're tough to win. So, you know, I feel like my strategy, I mean, it kind of, you know, even 2 years ago before I won, I wasn't out here at all that summer. And, you know, I think I kind of just saw it as an advantage for getting to play the main event fresh. And, you know, I just kind of think that because of that, I think I've just kind of developed this like quality over quantity strategy, you know, where come out, play your best, and then, you know, try to do that again in a couple of days, but you play too much, you get burned out.
Like the top golfers on the PGA Tour do, like before a major. Some of them, if they feel they need a tweak, will play the event before.
Yep.
And some of them are like, no, my body's wasted.
That's a great example. Yeah. Even like Brooks Koepka, they talk about how the guy doesn't even do good in the prelims. You know, then he's out there winning every major. So, you know, there's probably something to that. You know, I think he's more about just getting mentally ready for just a couple big ones that he really wants to put his energy to, in as opposed to like playing all of them, and I think that helps him.
Well, we'll talk about how you get mentally ready in a little bit. I want to go rewind first to Morristown, New Jersey. Is that where you were born and raised?
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about Morristown. All I know is that it played a key role in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, there's some history there. The funny part is that, apparently there's like some George Washington, like he stayed there for a little while. Have I ever been there? No.
Yeah, it was like a turning point in the Revolution.
Yeah, that's what they say. But as far as seeing it, I'm not.
No, that
too
wasn't
familiar with
happening
it.
in 1992, right?
Well, see, there's still like historical landmarks, and they have like a lot of history. But it's a cool place. It's actually kind of growing rapidly into this like new little Hoboken type city where there's a lot of nightlife and stuff, and just kind of got my start going to high school there.
And what were you getting into? I know you played football growing up, but
I played sports. Always liked sports. And then
brothers and sisters.
What did your
parents do?
Younger sister. My mom was a school teacher. My dad was in advertising for a little bit, and then ended up doing some odd jobs here and there, and just lived like a pretty normal life. I mean, as far as like sports goes, I always liked them, but because of my weight issues, I struggled in playing. It kind of hindered me there. So then, what was the next logical option? Okay, how about a mental sport where you don't need to be physically fit anymore? So I kind of found poker, and that became my passion.
You were a big guy. You could play lineman or something.
Yeah,
right?
I played offensive line.
Oh, there you go,
yeah, I wasn't very good. You still have to be tough. You can't just be big. You have to.
Gotta have quick feet. Right?
Yeah. See, no, I mean, I was a pretty good.
Get out and run block.
I was okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I was better in pass protection, I would say, but
yeah.
But no,
dropping back is always easier, right?
Exactly. Just just like being a hindrance to getting to the quarterback as opposed to pushing them out of the way is much easier.
Okay, so you decide on Temple University. What made you go to Temple?
I wanted to go to a school that had good sports. That was probably number one. I'm a big sports guy. So I tried to get into some of the ones.
You wanted to be an owl.
Yeah, I mean, being an owl was cool, and that's what really led me there. It ended up being a really good decision. I mean, Philadelphia is a cool city. They're passionate. We had a good basketball program, and the football program, which was bad for a while, ended up getting good. So got exactly what I wanted.
It's weird because you could have gone to Rutgers or something like that.
Well, you have to get in, Julio. They have to accept you. So
I was just wondering because it's like out of state, but it's basically not really that far away. You know what I mean? Like It's not like you left home that far.
No, it was the perfect distance really because I got Rutgers. You're still in New Jersey. This way I could be away from home. But when I wanted to come home, I did, and it really was perfect. There was a lot of poker parks. Even Harris Chester, which is not the nicest casino in the world, but had a decent poker room. So, it ended up being a pretty good choice.
Well, let me ask you about poker in college because I went to college during the boom, and I graduated right at the boom, and there was home games everywhere. That's all everyone. If you were a male in college, you were playing online poker. It's for some length of time.
Right.
Was that the case? I mean, you were born. Oh, you're 27, right?
Yeah.
So was that the case when you were in college still?
No, not really. Actually, I couldn't find a poker game on campus. I'm not to say they didn't exist.
Yeah.
But I really didn't play much cards. I mean, even my buddies, they liked it. We played a couple times now that I think about it, for sure, but nothing like a frequent home game. I did find a game on like 2+2. Once, and then I did actually find another game. I would play at Drexel University, which was across the way. I actually became really, lifelong buddies with the guys that I played with over there. So, but that was kind of a pain, so I didn't play too much. So it wasn't like a big thing. More for me, it was more watching it. And Black Friday happened my freshman year, so I remember I was playing a little bit of online poker my freshman year, which would account for my poor GPA and. But then they kind of took that away, and I remember like being in my dorm room on Black Friday. So after that, it just became about watching it, and then once I turned 21.
What got you into it initially? Was it like a home game in high school or something? Or?
Yeah, I think it was kind of a combination. I was playing in middle school. I remember during the boom. I mean, they got me at a young age, and we played.
Planted a seed early.
They did, and then a couple, like I was in this group of baseball guys, and their fathers, like they would play like the other, the variations and stuff like baseball. We would make it fun. But yeah, cards were just a part of my life then. And then it's a funny question, how do you get in? I don't know. And then I think I just started watching it on TV late at night. And
do you remember the first time you ever played? Did you win?
First time I ever played, I don't know. I mean, the first time I ever went to a casino, I was 18, which was Turning Stone in outside of Syracuse. Yeah. So I used to drive 5 hours to go up there. That was actually like my Disney World. It's like the happiest place on earth for me. It was Turning Stone Casino. Just going up there. And yeah, I remember the first trip on my 18th birthday, because my mom's a gambler, so I didn't have to pull her arm too hard to go up there. And
the school teaching gambler, huh?
Yeah, she likes her slots.
She's a slot puller, huh?
Yeah, she's pretty good at it. So but so we went up to Turning Stone, and I remember I think I hit like a steel wheel actually, and I think I left up like $500, I want to say, and
that's all you need.
Yeah, it's probably all it really took.
That's all it takes.
But I loved poker at the time. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was already hooked anyway.
Right, but if you had been stomped into the dirt like 6 times in a row, who knows what would have happened?
Yeah, probably would have just. I had a job at the time. It wasn't like just would have kept probably gambling until I eventually won one time. You got to win eventually.
So you're in Temple. You're playing occasionally casinos, building a bankroll, or just messing around?
Nah, just messing around. Didn't have much.
Focusing on that accounting degree, huh?
I wasn't doing that either, so I don't know what I was doing. But
debating between Pat or Gino's, or
yeah, honestly, that's right. D'Alessandro's actually.
Okay,
There's some other low key good ones, but yeah, I think that poker for me back then was more just a hobby. I didn't really plan on doing too much. I mean, I was obsessed with it, but I was in school, so looking back on it, I think I think going to a school for accounting was probably a mistake. If I had done something in like psychology, or maybe if there was probably other fields I was more passionate about.
Oh, okay.
Who knows what would have happened?
You don't mean a mistake for career decisions. You just mean like passion.
Well, both. I mean, I think passion and career should be kind of two of the same,
of course,
right? You have to like what you do. So that's what I'm saying. I think I got out of college with an accounting degree and didn't want to be an accountant. So I think that was part of it. But yeah, I mean, I remember I definitely made the trip to AC a couple times to play cards, and like I said, Harris Chester. So I was playing poker tournaments, but nothing serious.
So once you graduated, I mean, you're not going to accounting firms for looking for work, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really apply for jobs. I just kind of got out, and I worked like a couple summer jobs, and then I just was a poker player. It just kind of happened. I don't know. I didn't. It
wasn't like you
doing.
said, "Hey, I'm going to play poker for a living." It's like, "Hey, this is what I got."
Yeah, I think that was a big way to look at it. So I think it started in one winter. We would kind of a cheat code for East Coast poker players. There's this little island off the coast of Atlantic City called Brigantine, New Jersey. And it's like a lot of people's second homes, and in the winter they don't live there, so they'll rent them out for cheap. So, online poker was just kind of coming back to New Jersey. That was the other thing I think that saved me, being a New Jersey resident. The getting Borgata.com and eventually PokerStars and WSOP.
Right, because Black Friday cuts you off.
Exactly, but now I'm back to playing online poker. Yeah. So we would live in this house, pay not a lot of money, 2 or 3 poker players, and I could just kind of rationalize being a poker player because my rent wasn't that high, and Borgata was right there, and I would just play online and just kind of, I had a couple, I hit like a 15K score and a 20K score, I think, some point early in those years, between the 22, 23, and even those just kind of were enough to get you by.
That's enough when all you got to buy is beer, right?
I guess so, yeah. So
beer and chop up rent 16 ways or whatever it is.
Yeah, so that was life for a while,
And you didn't make the trip to Vegas, though, right?
No, well, that's the thing. So there was a winter rental. Eventually they want their house back when it's nice out. It's actually cool to be there.
Yeah.
So now, now you're out. You could go to Vegas, but I again, being out there for the full summer, it's expensive. It's not easy to do. So I probably had the funds. I would go out for a week or so. I definitely made a couple random pilgrimages.
Okay. It wasn't like that was your first summer. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. I definitely played a handful of events. I think maybe a week here. I think I played the Monster Stack one of the years, and then that was probably the extent of it. played at Hollywood and other stuff like that more often.
Do you remember your first big live tournament?
Man, my first big live. What's big?
Well, whatever that means to you. You know?
I've
Sometimes when it's your last $500 in your pocket.
I would probably say that the first ever Poker Night in America event was held at Turning Stone Casino. I think when I was 20, that was a 1,600, 1 mil or something. I think that was the first time.
You see pros you recognize.
That was yeah. I was as a fan too. That was definitely like a really cool event. And I think that was like the first time I was like, all right, this feels right, like seeing Mike the Mouth and playing with Mike the Mouth. I got 11th. That's where the story goes. I ended up going kind of deep, and I got knocked out by like this one, Darvin Moon. How about that? He was there.
Darvin Moon, but don't say he never did anything else.
No, I hear you. Yeah, that was a cool story.
There's a guy who took his money and ran, right?
I mean, hopefully.
Is he still logging somewhere, cutting down trees?
He's a businessman. Yeah, that's
doing
what
it
I'm
from
saying.
The desk. I bet.
He wasn't a professional poker player. He was a businessman who got second ones. So.
All right, so let's fast forward to 2016.
Yeah.
It's the World Series of Poker main event, and you're not even in the city.
No.
Instead, you're in Borgata, winning some other event.
Yeah. That's a funny one.
Tell me about that event. What was your bankroll like at the time, and how important was it to you?
Yeah, so this is where the story gets good, we'll say. So 2016, I couldn't come out to Vegas at all that summer. I might have come out for a week prior, but I'm not sure. And then,
But the point is the main event's going on
in
Vegas.
Right, main event's going
on
in Vegas. Yeah, and I wasn't there, and I wanted to be. I just was starting to feel relatively good about my game. Was I ready for the main yet? Probably not anyway, so I think it was good that I stayed home. And right before, talk about bankroll, I wasn't, too rolled at the time. And right before I think I left for Atlantic City, my dad had a conversation with me, and he was like, I think it's time you get a job maybe. And I
wow, that's tough.
Yeah, but I looked at it, I said, you might not be wrong. Like I kind of thought he might have been onto something. So I think there's a little bit of a agreement there, because it's tough to do this for 5 years and not have anything to show for it. So I go down to Atlantic City, and this tournament, everyone's either out playing the main or they just got back and they don't want to go play a 500. And it was a pretty good field and just ran good. And that was the first big breakthrough. So that was a cool time.
You win it for $199,854. So you have $200K in your pocket. How does that change your life?
Yeah.
Do you jump into bigger games? Do you jump on the tour?
Yeah, I mean, you pay taxes, first of all. You learn what that process is like.
Yeah.
And
that's a nice little lesson on a much smaller scale for you.
Exactly.
We'll just do this 10 times over next
time.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I had some experience. So and then you now you're 26 and the first time in your life you have money, and I didn't even have all myself in that thing, so I definitely gave away some, and now now you're trying to figure out moving forward. So
but clearly you weren't going to go back to your dad and be like, yeah, I'm going to get a real job.
Probably not at this point. No. Now I was like, you know what? I think like we could try this a little longer. Mm-hmm. But it didn't mean that success followed. I mean, the next year I definitely lost some playing poker. I got into DFS a little bit, which, again, I love sports. I love gambling on sports. It made sense, but definitely didn't do it the right way. And
were you were you one of the computer people who was running?
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not.
It's all gut feel, right?
Yeah, I'm still a field player in that game too. DFS. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'd like to think that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'd like to think that somehow, I just know the math subconsciously. We're getting there based on math anyway. But at the end of the day, I'm like, this guy, he's on a heater. So. Yeah, but I just, like anyone, I mean, it's just fun to think you know what you're talking about in sports and try to get it right. But so the next year was a lot of, I think, I would say it was kind of a failure per se. And then we get to let's get to like March of 2017 then. Mm-hmm. And I now. So I lost a portion of that. I definitely was was back to struggling, and now I'm actually looking for backing. So it happens, and I find it, and then So basically, again, I didn't go out to the World Series at all that summer, but I did make the decision to focus on my health now.
Yeah.
So that was kind of became priority number one at that point, which was just like a weird decision. I don't know. I just decided to. I think I just
So you're doing this before your main event run?
Yeah, I started the 2 months before. I was down about 25 pounds before I even left for Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think that is
that had to have an effect on your
I
run.
think so too. I just think in general, for some reason, despite not like being in a much worse place than I was a year ago, I just was excited about the game again and life and whatever. And so I think that probably has something to do with it. But
cleared out the cobwebs and it did something, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I was even like scheming. I think another cool thing was I was like, again, trying to find ways to make it in poker without the poker mattering, because there's a lot of variance in the game, right? I mean, so Poker Go just came around at that time, and I was a complete nobody, but I'm like calling my friends, like scheming of ways to maybe like get on Poker Go somehow. Come up with an idea. I ended up Twitch streaming for 2 weeks in that summer, and had like 18 viewers, 3 of which were probably family members, and then 3 of which were probably just one friend on 3 computers trying to make me feel good, and then who knows. But I did have a couple. I remember, Michael Gagliano would tune in, and I was like, it kind of validates a little bit. But that was tough because now you're like trying to play funny and be entertaining, but also it cuts into your poker. So that was
I've never understood how those Twitch guys can do that, like be informative, witty, and also play solid.
Yeah, it's really really hard. So I learned that the hard way and did that for a couple weeks, and obviously didn't make a career out of it, but I was trying, so that's and then as the summer went on, I just kept working, felt like I was trying for the first time on my game, and then decided it was finally time to play the main event. I think it's probably it was a pretty sound strategy, just try to play the best tournament in the world, and and so I made the plunge finally.
Yeah, it's one of those people always talk about. Don't make the main event your first event. Why not?
Yeah,
good structure, weak field.
Yeah, it's just beyond
best value,
the best poker tournament in the world. Even I was thinking about it even. This week now, I'm like, if you don't take the day, I think if you don't take the day or two off before to get ready for this, I think you're just behind the curve anyway. You know what I mean? If you're out there grinding, I don't know. I know you probably, but it's just, it's going to be hard to win if you're not more about preparation than I think anything for something of this magnitude.
Well, let's talk about your run in 2017. I know you went into the final table as the chip leader, but what about the other days? Were you a big stack throughout, or?
Yeah, I mean, I bagged 70-something K after day one, and
so not huge, but
no,
solid.
That was it was. I went up, I made some chips, and then late day two, I played a crazy hand at the end of the night where I got there, you could say, and bagged a lot on day two, and then day three was really when you're about to get the money, and I played really good on day three, and got to a point where I had a good stack coming towards the bubble, which is pretty important.
Yeah.
You still have to execute on the bubble, which is not easy, but it's still easier. So
did you find that people were just laying down to you?
Kinda. I mean, yeah, it's still you don't know. I mean, this one specifically, it definitely seems like there's that level of that factor because it's such a big main cash. People just don't want to bust the main. So obviously it helps. But you never know. I mean, someone might not want to fold because they know you're trying to run them over and they have a good hand. So pros, it's tougher to play against on the bubble because they might be a little bit more stubborn, but so it's all about table draw too.
Yeah.
But I was in a good spot and ended up bagging 8th in chips after day three. So I think that was kind of
you punished the bubble.
I would say that was kind of the moment where it's like, okay, this is real now. Now you're in the money and you're top 10 in chips. So
as you're getting deeper in the tournament, are you looking at those payouts at the top, or are you just following along with where you are? How are you? Are you not letting any of that enter your mind at all?
No, I definitely didn't. I definitely didn't pay attention to any of that. Not even cliche. Like I just didn't. It just didn't. It just shouldn't matter. I mean, my goal was to win, and that's so. Like, yeah, I didn't pay attention to any of that. All you just have to focus on really on a micro scale. You have to just focus on the 2 cards you get dealt that hand, right? You can't think about anything else other than that. Just what's the best decision to make in that hand. So I think if you're doing that, that's probably just minus EV. So
how about sleep?
I was sleeping good. Like it was funny. They just made marijuana legal June of that year in Las Vegas, and I don't smoke too often, but there's the kids I live with did, and I don't know if kids listen to this. It's a poker podcast, but
it's a gambling podcast. We're 18 plus.
Yeah, come on, you guys
we're
mature.
Tagged NSFW.
Okay, so yeah, but as far as helping me go to sleep, I think it really
a nice strong
helps.
indica.
Yeah, I think it helps. So
lock you into that couch.
Yeah, so that kind of helped me with my sleep, and was sleeping pretty well, and I actually slept on an air mattress for the first 3 or 4 nights. It wasn't until day 5, I think, that I got a bed. So there was that part too. So once day 5 hit, I was sleeping good.
Now you're the king. You can get a bed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I think
nerves.
Not really. I mean,
some people say that they feel nervous right up until they drag their first pot, and then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was probably nervous, but. That was I brought in Elliot Rowe when I got to the final table, and he kind of helped me stay grounded. I think that was people can say what they want about stuff like that, but even if you don't believe in it fully, it's like I think in this exact moment, when you're thrust into something so crazy or whatever, it definitely helped to talk about it. So I attribute a lot of that to like the lack of nerves per se.
Well, we mentioned that you went into the final table with the chip lead, but it was a final table that had a few interesting characters, so there wasn't like a ton of focus on you. You had John Hesp, who was like grabbing all the headlines. Saout was making another final table, and then obviously Ben Lamb was having the summer of his life. Yeah, can
we talk about that for 1 second? I haven't really got to talk about this. I feel like I'm going to talk about this stuff. Can we talk about Ben Lamb, Antoine Saout, Michael Ruane going back to he got 4th and 10th.
Mike Ruane, yeah.
And there was one more, I thought.
Well, back in the day, Dan Harrington did it.
Well, yeah, I thought in this exact one. Maybe I was thinking
Mark Newhouse, ninth and ninth.
No. In my tour, I thought there was like another guy who made his.
Oh, the Asian guy. What was his name? He finished ninth and 8th as well. Steve G.
Oh yeah.
Steve G went back.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it does seem like I don't know. I mean, the math is there. It's like, how do these guys do it?
Right.
I'm about to find out if they might be. Oh, and John Sin Sin got 11th in 20.
Oh, and then Joe Cotta, obviously.
And then Joe Cotta. So like it's
we have a lot of examples actually.
Yes, I don't know. I know it makes me think that I might have a shot this year, which
that's
is
what
nice.
I'm saying. Like it's like, well, I mean, what are the odds he's gonna do?
Right.
It?
I'm like,
well, look at all these other people.
Yeah.
Somebody has to do it again.
Yes.
Odds are people will do it again. So
yeah, so that's cool. But yeah, that was definitely like interesting because they've all been there before, right? The experience you can't really duplicate.
Well, I'm wondering because you didn't have a November 9,
right? So
you didn't have to sit on the chip lead for months and let that pressure build. I'm sure that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
To just jump right into the final table.
Yeah, I think it was probably the best thing for me. 2 months, everyone can get back. I just felt like everything was rolling. So like I didn't need that long break, and I'm pretty grateful that we didn't have one, to be honest. But with that being said, I think 2 days was 4 days the perfect amount.
4, okay.
I think 4 days is a perfect amount because these 2 days off aren't even days off. I have to come do media and stuff. You know, it's not a day off if you have to be somewhere.
You're basically sleeping the day after you make the final.
But
table,
not even.
right?
I think I had to be at the Rio the next day, and then the day after that was a full day off. And then last year they didn't even have a day off.
No,
which still is the most mind blowing. I can't even process that, to be honest.
So you had to hire a mental coach in that time.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And then they're just like.
What about a poker coach, or did you just have friends come in?
That was a cool process too. Like we talked to a couple guys. Everyone wanted too much money, so.
Well, what was the craziest? Like, don't out people because
I'm not.
I've heard some people like, I want a percentage of your winnings if you get X above your equity based on the chip.
Yeah, they're all similar. One world class player came with like a pretty fair offer, to be honest, that I probably should have taken. But it was such a small amount of time. I was like, what am I gonna like? You know, it's still like. Like, what are you going to tell me for that much money?
Like, to train with this person. Till
yeah,
November makes
yeah,
sense,
and again, I was like, I don't. So I can mention this because this is actually really cool. So what we did do was I did go over to Ryan Reese's house. He was nice enough to have me over. We had a mutual friend, and so we ended up going there, and we were planning on studying a lot, and we watched a little bit of film because I had the coverage from before, and we talked a little bit about scenarios. But then eventually I was like, there was so many people, I was just like, you know what? And I just ended up relaxing again,
just
and
hanging
just
out.
talking around, and like I got some advice from one of his buddies, and that was a really cool night. I forever grateful to Ryan for that because it was
just let that winning
feeling.
feeling.
What better way to prepare to win than to be around a guy who already did it? So, he's a really cool guy, and that was the extent of my studying. There was a couple things too from the old footage, like that's how you study in the NFL, right? You watch film, or So I was not even looking, but just kind of like trying to learn my opponents. And there was a couple spots at the final table that I kind of attribute to watching other hands those guys have played before. Literally, one hand had two of them. Literally, two things we like kind of discussed. Both came up in the same hand, and it went perfectly. And I ended up bluffing with 7-6 of clubs on like a board with no equity, and it was all because of a little bit of preparation the night before. So it is funny how it works, and
but 4 days will be better.
Yeah, a couple more days just to relax.
You hear that, WSOP? Let's give him 4 days.
I'm on the record.
You know what? The media could use the 4 days as well. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. Well, it's fine, but at least some kind of break, but not. I don't think a couple months is necessary either. So
let's talk about money. You won $8.15 million. Obviously, I heard your buddies had some pieces of you.
Yep, definitely.
You made a lot of friends happy.
Definitely did not have all myself. Yeah, yeah. A lot of that was cool. I mean, a lot of friends. That's what I'm saying. Now, friends happy. So that was definitely a bonus.
Well, one of the quotes you said after winning was that, you didn't really want to win it for the money, but it was nice to have the freedom, and you could basically do whatever you wanted to do. You said you didn't know if you were going to play poker, start a business, go back to school, but basically,
yeah, that's pretty accurate. I'm glad I said that because that's not only accurate. Now 2 years later, I still have no clue
about
anything. So the freedom to not know, to literally just exist for 2 years and have no clue, what you're doing with your life. But yeah, it's pretty accurate, I think. So
well, just to describe your last 2 years, because obviously there've been a couple different ways main event winners have gone about their poker careers after they've won. Some have disappeared forever.
Sure.
Some have just dabbled, little more like you, I think, where you make an appearance, lend your name to some charity events. I've seen you be doing that a lot, obviously. And play when you feel like it. And then there's the guys who go, oh, now I'm a high roller.
Right.
And now I'm going to play high stakes cash.
Right.
In an interview with us after you won, you said you didn't want to end up like Peter Eastgate and jump into the high stakes games.
I don't mean to single him out.
Well, no, but obviously he was famous for doing that.
Yeah, we played on high stakes poker, and I mean, I did it. I'm not like impervious. I played one high roller, and then I played poker after dark once, and I don't know. Yeah, again, it's just kind of I think that I want to have a balance. I just personally think that poker will always be a part of my life, but I want to do something else too. So it's just how it is.
Is it because of like all those cautionary tales out there, or the people who couldn't hold on to their money, Or is it more a matter of, like, you just don't have anything to prove?
There's a lot of reasons. I mean, I think not having anything to prove is part of it. I think it's all these things combined. I don't know. I don't really want to pinpoint it now. I mean, it's just my personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
And focusing on the health and stuff was important, and it's hard to do that. Poker, you lose a lot, and losing is conducive with bad habits, and so yeah, I just don't feel the need to accumulate more money for poker at this time, so I'm just not playing. That's just that simple. So I love it when I play. I played the Monster Stack. I had a good time. I like it. But yeah, I kind of take it back to even before I won the main, when I was trying to, everyone okay, you can look at me now and say it's easy now, but even before, when it wasn't easy, I still think I was looking for some kind of backdoor other way out. Back then, even trying to get out of relying on poker for my happiness, and so I think just nothing has changed now.
Well, I mean, I just had Adam Friedman on the podcast last episode, and he basically said poker was a means to an end for him.
Right.
And he said if he won the main event, he would never touch a deck of cards again.
Right.
I don't know if I believe that.
It's probably not true.
But that's.
But you play less. But you play less. I mean,
yeah.
Again, it's the same. Yeah, that's clearly how I feel as well.
So there's no part of you that's ego driven that wants to prove yourself.
No,
to tell people.
Definitely not.
All the trolls online who say, "Oh, he just got lucky at the final table."
No, I don't. No, not at all. I don't care. So it's cool. That's nice. And then whatever. I mean,
well, you talked about your health. I would like to bring that up because you're looking good.
Thank you.
What you been doing?
Just cutting out carbs and sugar for the most part. Again, it's another thing that I still don't have figured out, but you have to just learn about it and want to in order to do it, you have to just do it. That's, I always kind of say that's what it comes down to. So it was hard work. It's not rocket science. You just eat better and exercise. So you do both of those things and you'll succeed. But I'm still battling it. To say you don't beat it, is I still have more I want to lose. The summer's been I'm kind of floating around, being thankfully not going up and not going down either, which is obviously still the goal. So
it's really hard to have a routine during the summer.
It's hard. So it's hard. That's the thing, right? So yeah, life is hard, and this is a big part of it for me, and it's hard. So I almost what I've been doing the last 2 years. That's been the priority number one, right? Because it's not easy to do. And it takes a lot of mental energy, just like poker does. So I wanted to put it all towards the thing that was more important to me. So
absolutely. We close the podcast with some rapid fire questions if you're ready to go.
Sure.
Biggest pot you've ever won or lost? Your choice.
It's definitely a loss, and I think it was a poker after dark game. It was 40K pot maybe, or something like that. I think it's to John Sin too, which is just not even fair. I mean, he's actually that rich. I mean, that's So
yeah, he did it twice. Remember, 11.
Yeah, he did it twice, and then he invested. He doesn't even know what an investor is, I don't think, and he's just, oh my god, what a life.
Best swap or piece you've ever had of anybody?
I'm not. I mean, think about it. I'm usually on the other side of that, so I'm trying to think. Actually, that's not true. Right? I can't. This story is for another. I got a story for a whole nother podcast another day that pertains to that. But
somebody
I
came
did
through
get
for
lucky.
you.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot. Yeah, one time.
Right now, that person is screaming in their car like,
yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Weirdest place you've ever played poker for money?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, you said you basically went right to the casinos, right?
Yeah. I didn't do too much gambling at a casinos. I don't know. Probably a boat.
A boat.
Yeah, that's a cruise. We'll call it a cruise.
Okay. Best poker player we've never heard of. I'm gonna give a shout out to one of the lesser knowns.
Oh man, there's a lot of them. I know a lot of them.
Well, you give one to your buddy, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll say just because it's so fun. My buddy Brian Frasca was a guy who taught me a lot about the. He's an actuary. He's one of the smartest guys out there. And he's just obsessed with poker, the high roller scene. So he would watch all the Euros play, and he was the one who told me kind of what they were doing, and that's what I implemented in my game that kind of took it to the next level. So I'll give him
But he
some
doesn't
credit
play
for
poker,
that.
huh?
Well, he every weekend he drives 3-4 hours to go play in New Jersey online or Maryland. He grinds. He just has a job, So he's that, because like I said, he's a smart guy. So
what was your worst job before poker?
Worked at a Dick's Sporting Goods for a summer where they actually
Really?
the corporate came down and was like, they're like taking from your checks or something. There was like a scandal, and this pregnant woman was the boss and got fired because of it. Because there's something where they have like a lot of amount of hours to give, and they were giving more hours than they should have, so they were like cutting the extra pay. And so yeah, that was the other thing. I was like, this corporate world come on, how is that real? Like the place was packed. It was at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And she's getting fired because we needed more employees. You're Dick's Sporting Goods. Like, we need more employees. Sorry, I don't know. So that was like a
What
taste
was the
of
worst part about
world.
that job? Like refolding shirts or?
No, I didn't even hate. I was a pretty good employee. That's what I said. I didn't mind doing it. I just it was just a job, but I tried to do it the best I could, and it wasn't. It was fine. I mean, it wasn't even that bad.
What was your largest non-poker wager? Prop bets or sports bets or pit games?
I just bet way too much money on Utah State to beat Washington in the college basketball tournament. Did not go well.
Why that game?
I thought I had it solved. I did not.
That's such a weird game.
Like, it's fine because we got the Utah State future in this year at 200-1. This is the sharpest thing I've ever done in my life. I got 200-1 on Utah State to a national championship, and a week later they were 50-1. So we're fine. We're back.
That's a lot of virtual equity.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And
that
now
maybe will get realized.
Unfortunately, they probably stink because they're Utah State and they won't actually win because it's hard to win. But the center came back. Well, that's for the sports podcast. But yeah, they're gonna redeem themselves for losing in that game for me this year. I have a feling.
You don't bet on your Owls?
Sometimes when they're good bets. Football, Temple football has been good to me. That they 1 year. You just want me to go on a bad beat rant, I think. But this is before I won the main, so it's fine. I bet the first Temple game they played Navy. I said Temple gonna be good this year. I bet Temple. They not only do they not cover the minus 12 or whatever, they lose the game. And then they covered every game the rest of the season, and I stopped betting because I don't bet sports.
Yeah.
And I didn't bet, and they literally were 16-1 against
You
the spread.
superstitious at all? You're like, well, they're winning because I'm not betting.
Not even, no. I not superstitious. I just feel like an idiot. I'm like, you were right. Just if I was sharp again, you just bet them all, and then you make money. But I wasn't sharp. What are you gonna do?
What is a talent you don't have that you wish you did?
Jeez, maybe playing an instrument or something.
You don't play anything?
I played the saxophone in high school, but
alto or tenor?
I forget.
You didn't play very long, I guess.
Alto, I think. That was an alto. I don't know. I don't. That question is so loaded that was the first thing I went. There's probably a better answer to that, but.
Well, they say kids who learn music are better at math or whatever. So
yeah.
There's some correlation.
Yeah.
You can
I wish I was probably basketball player too. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good. I'm happy with where I am as a basketball player, but obviously it'd be cool to.
Would be nice to have a deadly,
dunk.
a deadly dunk in you, that no one can see
I want to
coming.
be I want to be like Klay Thompson from three. That's all.
Did you see Scott? He took off from the free throw line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just sinking half court shots like it was nothing.
Exactly.
Headphones on at the table? Yes or no?
No.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Everything. I like rap. I like punk music. Basically everything.
Well, I was gonna bring up Mac Miller. How did that happen?
That was crazy. I don't know. I think the only thing I think is he was just baked as hell on his couch watching poker at 2 a.m. and just when you're Mac Miller, you could slide into people's DMs, and he did, and he just watched it and thought it was cool and congratulated me. His girlfriend went to Temple. He's from Pittsburgh, and he used to come to Temple a lot. So I wonder if that had something to do with it. Maybe just he saw Temple University, and I don't know. Yeah, maybe poker. Maybe
that's cool. The
guy was probably a poker fan, right? I don't know.
Is that your best celebrity encounter since winning the main event? I mean, I saw you met Scottie Pippen, and
yeah. No, I've had some. That's been a really cool. I mean, that's the thing that you can't. outside of the money, it's like, just like getting cool experiences and stuff. That's been the coolest part. I'm friends with a couple. I went to dinner with like a Kyle Kuzma and Lonzo Ball once.
Have fun in New Orleans.
Yeah. Good luck there. It's just like, I don't know, just trying to figure it out. But yeah, that was the Mac Miller thing was obviously crazy to wake up to that the next day. I mean, obviously it was super sad that he passed away.
Yeah, for sure. I talked to Jamie Kerstetter, your roommate.
Yeah, good friend.
She's been on this podcast.
Yeah,
and I got some things to ask you about. She says she wants me to ask you about rotisserie chickens.
Yeah, I eat a lot of rotisserie chicken. What
does that mean?
It just means I don't know. I'm assuming it means that I eat rotisserie chicken like almost every day. That's how you lose 70 pounds. You just eat chicken a lot. You know.
You just go buy those like $5 chickens at the grocery store.
Hell yeah!
Fork and knife them.
And now I get the 8-piece baked from Albertsons. It's $6.99. Sometimes on holidays it's $4.99.
There you go.
And that's it.
Well, you don't.
And I get it all dark.
All?
I don't do with the white meat. I'm not a white meat guy. I want the breast. I want the thighs and the drumsticks.
Mm-hmm. What do you put it over rice or?
Nope. Just chow down on chicken. Yeah, just chicken.
A little ranch dressing?
Nope. Just this chicken.
Just dry chicken.
No, it's not even. They put paprika on it. Yeah, it's paprika. That's the Chico paprika.
Okay, paprika. Okay, yep. That's not too bad. She says you scare Crouton. By yelling at the TV.
Yeah, I do.
Crouton was basically half of her episode on the podcast.
I know they love the dog. I love Crouton, but I'm.
You haven't checked out Jamie Kerstetter's
I love you,
episode.
Crew. But when the team's not covering,
She said she needed to put a Thunder shirt on him. Are you an Oklahoma City fan?
Thunder shirt it's a dogs. It's loud noise. They
like a comfort shirt. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Jamie, sorry, I did not understand that one.
To prevent from thunder, from when thunder happens. Yeah, he's fine. It's football. He doesn't like football. He doesn't like sports. What are you gonna do? You live in a house full of. I'm a sports fan.
We end the podcast the same way every time with a question from the random question generator. You ready?
Oh, great.
If there was an Olympics for everyday activities, what activity would you have a good chance to medal in?
Damn. I'm not this is the thing. I'm not good at there's something I forget to do every day, I think. So I'm trying to every day. Like I'd like to say exercise. I mean, I've been pretty good. I wouldn't get a gold. I'd get like a bronze probably.
There's only 2 people better than you?
No, not even. I don't know. Just on a scale.
You want a next question instead?
Yeah, let's do another one.
Okay.
Everyday activities. Like I know what I'm gonna do every day.
Okay, that's just a food question. We can't do that one again. All right. If your job gave you a surprise 3-day break to rest and recuperate, what would you do with those 3 days?
This is right on my alley. That's a go. I would focus on mental health. That's it.
Are you a spa guy? Do you go for a massage?
I do. I've been not super frequently, but I do like massages. No, just a massage. I like massage. Therapy. Like just go. I would literally just go get my mind right. I would see a therapist. I would eat well, exercise, and just that's it. Like
juice
that's
cleanse?
How you spend free time. I have not done a juice cleanse. I refuse to do a juice cleanse. I am on the chicken cleanse instead.
There you go. Rotisserie chicken cleanse, guys. Take the bones out, put it in a blender.
That's it. Come into a diet book. I'm going to write a diet book called The Chicken Experience.
There you go. Thank you, Scott. I'm going to let you go off and talk to ESPN.
Thanks, Julio.
That's it. That's the show. Thank you once again to Scott for the time and the stories. You can follow him on Twitter at sblum2711. That's at SBLUM2711. You can follow us on Twitter at CardPlayerMedia or at poker_stories. If this was your first listen to Poker Stories, well then you should subscribe. Even better, leave a 5-star rating. And even better than that, you can leave an embarrassingly flattering review. If you do that and let us know about it with an email to pokerstories@cardplayer.com, we'll give you a free digital subscription to Card Player Magazine. Again, 5 stars, nice review, free magazine content. Thanks for listening.